computer. Well, good evening, everyone. Mike is under the weather. He's got like 106 fever. Crazy. How are you?
Oh, definitely been better. I guess I got it from convention. Yeah, and I guess just traveling, but there was a couple of people that have the same symptoms. It didn't hit me immediately. It started it started this weekend, over the weekend. And yeah, today's probably been the worst so far, not gonna lie.
I appreciate you. Give Mike some love in the chat, guys. I left my voice at the top of the hypercoaster at Movie World, so
Oh, you were riding roller
I was
coasters.
riding
That's
so
what
many
you
roller
meant.
coasters and I fucking lost my voice. Um, it's been the best week, guys. I don't know if you saw on my Instagram. Bought my new van. It's amazing. Called it Harvey the RV. she's she's a beast. She's a beast. But
That's an awesome name.
I know. And she's like the only one in Australia. And someone in Brisbane messaged me. They're like, "Oh, I saw your van," and I'm like, "Of course you did. Of course you did." But I just flew back in today, and Mike and I were like, we don't want to cancel on you guys ever. And so Mike is here. We're healthy, all of you. That's good. Is anyone on here that went to convention? Ava, outside. Go on. Is anyone in here that went to convention? I know there's a couple of Americans on here. Mike, you and I have to do a Zoom this week and do a catch up on that. But because I know you're not well, let's just get stuck into it, guys. So I'm going to open this call. First off, guys, remember, if you have a breakthrough tonight, if you're brand new to one of these calls, Mike is the founder of Tradehouse. I'm founder of Tradehouse Australia, alongside Jenna. And Mike and I have been running these calls pretty much every single Tuesday night when we don't cancel because of traveling or something since 2017. So a very, very, very long time. Mike has, been my mentor from day dot. So there's a couple of you I've never met before on here, which is really cool to see you on here. So thank you for getting on. And yeah, so what we do on these calls is I'm of the, philosophy that why make all this money if you're not going to do good with it, okay? So if you have a breakthrough on tonight's call, the hashtag, and I'm going to hashtag it in the chat so we get it right because it's always Blue Wolf or Blue Wolf. It is Blue Wolf, guys. That is the hashtag. If you have a breakthrough, that signals to me a donation of $10 that goes to basically the dog meat trade in Asia and Ghana. Okay, so we're all about rescuing the dogs. So if you have a breakthrough, make sure you do that hashtag Blue Wolf. The last call you guys sent me broke. It was like $2,500 USD. Oh, don't do that again. So yeah, let's get stuck into it. So I want to open this call. Tonight's topic is about risk management. Because Mike's not well, he's going to have his camera off. He is also, could do. Oh, we'll discuss that. We were going to do quarters theory, but because Mike is under the weather, we're not going to stress him out too much. But we are going to talk about risk management tonight because they're the two hot topics that we were. So I'm going to open this call up and I've got 3 questions that I want you guys to be writing down, okay? Now, these are 3 trading questions that will improve your trading results, okay? So 3 questions. The first one is the most important and it kind of rolls into the other 2, okay? Question number 1, for when you guys are on the charts, when you've got a trade up, you're about to enter it, okay? I want you guys to ask yourself, now these are 3 questions that can also go into your trading plan, okay? And when you have a trade up ready to go in, these are the 3 questions that I want you guys to ask yourself, okay? 1 is, have I planned and prepared for this position, okay? What I've seen from my 6 years experience in the markets is the majority of the losses we take come from the impulsivity in the markets, right? And that is either driven by fear or greed, okay? Fear being, you fear missing out of the position, so you just get in, right? And the greed side being also very similar to that. I could miss out on this position. I could miss out on making a lot of money in this trade, so I'm going to get in, right? Two sides to the coin there. How do you avoid that? You avoid that by planning your position. And this is why I think the reason I'm bringing this up is because I'm going through all of your notions. I've got 270 notions to get through, okay? And I'm seeing a very similar thing right here. How you avoid that is by planning your positions, okay? And this is why I think if you're getting into a position that you haven't thought out, you haven't planned, you are then undermining your performance as a trader, okay? And because of that, you're then more likely to be impulsive on the charts and make really impulsive decisions as opposed to the strategic decisions and following your trading plan. I know there's so many people on here that have a trading plan, but are you following it? Are you following your trading plan? Yes or no in the chat right here. If at 100% of the time you are following your trading plan. Yes, Bayers, of course you are. You're like the dream student. literally. Okay, that question right there. What was the first question? Have I planned and prepared for this trade? Yes. Have you planned and prepared? Okay, so that question that you're asking yourself, that needs to be a non-negotiable. Have I planned this position? Okay, I think as traders, especially traders who are early on in their journey, you're going to have far better results if you plan. Okay, if you prepare. And that then leads into, thank you for your honesty, Freddie. That then leads into my second question is this trade a part of my trading plan? Meaning, does it meet the criteria that I have written in my trading plan that makes this one trade that I'm about to take an absolutely 100% valid trade? Okay, because if you're not taking positions that's in 100% alignment with your trading plan, then you're not executing your edge. Okay, and that is a really crucial point that a lot of traders overlook, right? A lot of traders are making decisions about trades, and it's coming from what they think the market is going to do or how they feel the market is going to do. Okay, and what that does, it takes away from your proven edge. So first and foremost, you should have your trading plan either printed out or in another tab right in front of you. Okay, you need to have your list of confirmations in your trading plan that you're literally, like Jason Walls, I don't know if he's on here. He has a great Excel spreadsheet. I mean, it's in Notion now anyway, but he had this Excel spreadsheet that had all of his confirmations. And as he went through a trade, he would tick, tick, tick. And if one didn't align, it would be red, meaning he would then, that would bring awareness to him that he had not, completely followed that trading plan. It's not fitting the criteria. Therefore, he's not going to take the trade. Okay. If it's a no, why is it a no? What's not being met? Okay. Are you still going to take the trade because there's people in here that's still taking the trade, even if it doesn't meet the criteria? Okay. If it does, great. Get in the trade without hesitation, because if you hesitate before taking a trade, it's probably because you're taking a trade that's not in alignment with your criteria. Okay. And question number 3 is, do I accept my risk that I've put on here, or do I accept the loss that I could take from this position if it doesn't work out? Okay. And that is a really interesting question, because what I found in my experience is when asking that question, are you comfortable with taking losses on some positions and then not on others? The answer is always yes. Whenever I'm on one-on-one with you guys and I ask that, the answer is always yes. You're comfortable with some, not with others. So when a trader takes a trade from their edge, meaning they're following their trading plan, they have no issues taking their losses, taking the risks, because they realize that they have done all they can do as a trader for this trade. They've done their part, right? The market's going to do what market's going to do, but if you've done your part, you should be at peace with the trade, right? If you are not accepting a loss, because at the end of the day, no one really knows what's going to happen next. If you're not okay with it, then you shouldn't be getting in the trade, or you shouldn't be bitching and whining if the trade loses. Because if you do that, it tells me that you have an unrealistic expectation of the trade, and you have an unrealistic expectations driving the emotions behind that decision making of getting in the trade. Okay, so the 3 questions that I want you guys to add to your trading plans, and I want to see it in your notions. 1, have I planned and prepared for taking this position? Is my criteria met? Am I following my trading plan, right? Do I fully accept a loss on this particular position? If you say no to any of those, you need to take a step back. You need to self-evaluate. Am I making a decision based on what I think the market is going to do? Remember, if you need to write this on your trading view charts, trade what I see, not what I think I see or want to see or how I feel. Trade what I see. Okay? Because you've got to remember, there's no guesswork here. Hope isn't a strategy. You will become a really great trader, and you will only become a great trader that consistently makes money when you follow your processes, right? When you stick to your trading plan, when you journal your trades correctly and you learn from every single part of that. And what I'm finding is when we get upset with the losing, right? The losing is coming from your addiction to winning, your addiction to being right. And I know Mike is going to touch on that. Okay, because if you are not following your trading plan, if you're not journaling, you're gambling, and you can't fucking fight me on that. I'm sorry. You cannot fight me on that. Okay, and the difference between, and Mike will also touch on this, the difference between a gambler and someone actually taking this seriously and treating this like a profession and treating this like a business, right? And that, those two right there, you know, a gambler and a professional, it's a bit of a paradox that many traders face, because we all can recognize that no one knows with absolute certainty what's going to happen in the markets, yes or yes. We don't know that, right? And this is the time, this at times can create a lot of internal conflict with us. And we've spoken a lot of times on many of these calls, one-on-ones, pop-ups, whatever, Jenna's calls, go lives, okay? We've spoken so many times about having certainty with your execution, even if you don't know what's going to happen next. Okay. And what I mean by that is, if we have an expectation in our mind that we have to make a certain percentage of our account. Yeah, he does. Mike Douglas is the goat. Or a certain dollar amount. Okay. Or a trade has to do what we want it to do, then that is our expectation before going into a trade, right? But we can't have that certainty in that position, because intuitively we know that market is going to do what market is going to do. It's going to go up or down, okay? The outcome isn't important. So what I want to encourage you guys to do before I hand this over to Mike now, I need to give my voice a rest, is take a look at your journaled trades. Okay, all of that is data for you. I want you to learn from them. Are you guys journaling and then just waiting for Jenna and I to look at them and tell you what's wrong? I know Lenny, I don't know if he's on here. Lenny is great at this, right? Lenny will go and he will look at his he'll look at his trades and he will tell me straight away what happened. He knows what happens because he looks at them. He goes and looks and he back tests. Okay, Mikey, risk management king. Now, this is going to be a bit of a two-part, because Mike does trade significantly different to most of us, right? And, quarters theory, for example, if you've tuned into a lot of his streams, it is a little bit different, but it's still price. We're all trading price action. That's what we do. So Mike is going to touch on risk management tonight. And this may confuse you in the sense of how Mike manages risk management to how, Rock and Jenna being structure-based with risk management. Okay, so ask questions in the chat if you don't understand. We don't ever want to be talking about stuff and you just listening and not actually understanding what the fuck we're saying. Right, so closed mouths don't get fed. If you need elaboration on something, please say, can you please explain it a little bit better? Or in a different way that'll make you understand. Okay, so Mikey, thank you for getting on here, being so unwell. I appreciate it. Everyone here does.
Absolutely. And sorry, if I have like random little pauses of me talking, that's what's happening. I'm muting my mic. But I think that this is a really good introduction, not into just quarters, but in fact, where the premise of quarters comes from, of that as, again, what is considered, I by definition, I have to consider it a theory of mine. even though, again, what I'm about to say, it is that it's not a theory, and that this is something that has always, well, not always, but you it has absolutely been a huge part of my life for a very, very, very long time now. And it is again, what quarters is as a concept is even a part of it. And also, again, risk management. And what that is numbers. Numbers are the most important thing that I personally have discovered in my life. And what I mean when I say that is, let me just fire off a couple of things. What time is it? How much do you weigh? How many hours did you sleep? How many push-ups can you do? How much weight was on the bar? What's your phone number? What's your bank account number? What's the number in your bank account? How much weight did you lose? What's your high score on the video game? What's your social security number? What is your I mean, I could just go on and on and on. Everything that we as human beings care about is gauged by a number. And I didn't conceptualize that for a very long period of my life until, again, I started to discover it. And so what I want to do is I'll take you guys through this slideshow. Hold on. Okay. Can y'all see this?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. And I don't know if you got, and yeah, forgive, this is just one of the slideshows I have for it. But is there anybody here that's seen this before? I would assume that most people haven't, but what this is I'm not going to what I'm about to show you is why, for example, risk management is the most important thing. Because again, guys, what risk management is numbers. If you are not managing the numbers are managing you. If you are not in control over what is going on in life, as you will soon see here, that again, it is no different when it comes to the charts. And so again, in a nutshell, what it says here, and you guys could take pictures of this or take pictures or write it down, however. By identifying these patterns in the market, we start to get a vision of it. Think of the market movement like music. The basic principles of both of those are numbers. And this is, again, why I'm a drummer. What is a drummer's? I don't know if any of you guys play instruments, but a drummer, what do you think is going on in a drummer's head when he's playing music? It's not just a drummer, but I'm speaking from a drummer. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. It's again the count, the rhythm, observing numbers at work through many different aspects. We can see how this, again, numbers are in control of everything. Why would charts be any different? By learning that, things tend to become less about emotion or vague or randomness and more about the numbers. Markets run off of algorithms, which is just another word for numbers, and therefore abide by certain rules and patterns that can be identified and utilized. So the couple of things to set here is that the base 10 number system is something that, again, we as human beings use. And the base 10 is 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9. Numbers are, again, how we determine right from wrong. 1 + 1 = 2, right? And of course, there's no question to it. If we go anywhere in the world and they say 1 + 1 is 5, they are objectively wrong, right? Even if it's in a different language or whatever, but 1 + 1 is 2, because again, numbers are how we add things up. So again, how are the markets ever any different? And I know that this is, again, about quarters here, and we're not gonna excuse me. I know that this isn't what what I'm showing you here is the first half of this slideshow, because we could save it for quarters and showing examples and stuff of it next week. But even for this entire conversation, everything that I'm about to show you is a demonstration of, again, why it is so critically important. Even though, again, it says how I apply this to the markets, we'll save that for next week. But yeah. So again, you guys have probably heard of this term, numerology, right? Now, when you hear that word, I'm not talking about life path numbers. I'm not talking about zodiac signs. I'm not talking about any of that other mysticism that is surrounded by that word. Numerology is the divine or mystical relationship between a number and one or more coinciding events, meaning the same thing on repeat. It is also the study of the numerical value of letters and words, names, and ideas. Again, the base 10 number system, it doesn't matter what language, what symbol, it is the same thing. 0 is 0, 1 is 1, 2 is 2. It could be presented differently on a piece of paper, but the value, the number itself is still the same. And now pulling it into a little bit of trading, everybody should know what Fibonacci is, right? Because of trading. This whole slideshow is based around traders. Most people that I won't say most, but a lot of people that have come into trading have never heard about the Fibonacci sequence before. And even if you have, awesome. But for the ones that haven't, Fibonacci is not a trading tool. Fibonacci is the code of the universe, the mathematical principle of the universe that it uses to do all sorts of things. That's what it looks like on a tree. But again, it is in everything. It is everywhere. There is mathematical principles at play at every single scale of life. To your ears, to look at your fingers. You can see the Fibonacci scale literally in the bones of your fingers. DNA structure, seashells, zebras, hurricanes, tornadoes, flowers. It's. Do you have a cowlick on your head? If you do, it's a Fibonacci sequence. Another one that I always like to show is pi. Everybody knows what that is, but that's not just, again, about finding the circumference of a circle. There's a lot more that goes into pi as well. Now, this is where, again, things kind of get a little, taking you guys on a little bit of a ride here. Does anybody know what the Platonic solids are? Before I show you guys the next slide, anybody want to take a guess? Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. Gotta get it. Hold on.
Poor Mike. Give him some love in the chat, guys.
I'm sorry, I just had to get a Kleenex. Okay, but the Platonic solids are the base 5 principle, or the base 5 solids of physical reality. Everything on the periodic table of elements, helium, oxygen, iron, titanium, gold, mercury, everything, every single element that we know is comprised of the Platonic solids. Now, this is where numbers are going to get pulled in a little bit. What I'm about to demonstrate to you guys is, again, patterns. This pattern that I'm about to show you over and over and over of why pattern recognition is so critically important. A tetrahedron, as you see here on the bottom, when you are doing numerology, this is a thing that you guys got to understand about numerology. There is a term that, if you guys don't remember in math class, it is called the digital root number of a number. So when you take the number, like, let's say 42 has a digital root number of 6 because it is 4 plus 2. The digital root number of 101 is 2 because it's 1 plus 0 plus 1. Whatever the number is, there is going to be a digital root number that boils it down to a single digit. Doesn't matter how many times you have to keep adding the numbers together, you will get to a number between 1 through 9. That's what the digital root number is. So that principle is again applied as you see we're about to apply it here. What's 720 degrees digital root number? 7 plus 2, 9. What's 144 plus 0 for an octahedron? What's 2160 or 216? What's 3 plus 6? Now, what's 6 plus 4 plus 8? That would be 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 8 is 18, 1 plus 8 is 9. As we continue on here, this is a quote from, if you guys don't know who this is the real father of electricity, not Thomas Edison. We were lied to because he's a part of the group. He's a part of the gang. They took his ideas, but this is one of my favorite quotes from him. If you only understood the power of 3, 6, and 9, then you would have the key to unlock whatever it is that you want in life. So let me show you this in time. Remember, going for the digital root number. Doesn't just govern time and space, as you see. So let's continue on. The degrees, like 720 or 1080, all of that is 3, 6, and 9 as well. If you add up from 3, 6, and 9 is formed from the first 8 digits. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 is 36. Again, 3 plus 6 is 9. A fun little thing down here is that, have you ever known that if you multiply literally the entire multiplication chart by 3, you will literally get a never-ending sequence of 3, 6, 9. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 3 is 12. 1 plus 2 is 3. 5 times 3 is 15. On and on and on. This never ends. 3, 6, 9. It is everywhere. This is the two-dimensional perspective of how we could all have free energy. This is the torus field that is around all of us. This is our energy field. This is what it looks like on a three-dimensional scale, like a donut, if you will. But this is how we could have free energy everywhere. This is how we could fix our vibrations. This is literally, quite literally, the key to everything. But look how it never touches 3, 6, and 9. They are oscillating between 1, 2, 4, and 5, 7, 8 because of the structure of, again, how that all actually works. But that's a whole other conversation too. Now, let me show you physical reality. This is sound resonance. So they're going to put sand on that metal plate and they're going to vibrate it with a frequency. And as the pitch of that increases, as the frequency increases, the geometry, aka math, aka numbers, starts to form. This is happening in front of you, behind you, inside of you, above you, below you. Have you guys ever walked into a room and you have like picked up on the energy before anybody even acknowledges? This is what it looks like. Our eyes can't see it. Our eyes can only see a very tiny part of what is known as the light spectrum. We can only see such a tiny part of it that it has to literally be magnified out to show the colors. But this is what it looks like. This is what, like, you guys know you have Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi, you don't see Wi-Fi, but this is what it looks like. Radio waves, microwaves, like, again, like, just to show you. Like you've all seen Pink Floyd's art, right? But see, what's visible is so little on that scale that, again, we have to magnify it out because there's X-rays and gamma rays and micro, FM, AM, all of that, right? That's what we're talking about. That is the electromagnetic spectrum. My point being is that all of that is numbers. It's all numbers. And won't play that video again. Okay, but I'll stop there. Because what my intention of showing you guys that was, is that the physical reality that we live in is completely and utterly governed by patterns. Like when we talk about risk management, I can't even begin to stress how unbelievably important it is to manage numbers. Because if you are not in control of them, they are in control of you. And this is, again, where emotion can come from, because it's doubt. It's you don't know how much you're risking. When people get into trades and they don't even know really, again, why they're getting into trades other than just, I want to catch pips and make money, they can't walk away from a trade like that because, again, they don't know what could happen. So therefore, that fear of the unknown won't let them sleep. It won't let them walk away. You'll end up babysitting your trades. You'll end up doing all sorts of things, right? Everybody, well, I don't know if everybody, but I'm sure most people in here have experienced this before. And so my point being is that just as much as, again, that was about, time and numbers and all of that, that's what quarters is for me. But then again, this is also what it is for risk management, because, guys, this is not a trading perspective. This is me applying it into the world of trading. As I was just showing you guys, it is in everything. It is not specific or bound to one thing. It is everywhere. Did you guys know that 3, 6, and 9, or even just, in fact, the number 9 is, like, did you guys know any of that before I showed it to you? Did you know that 3, 6, and 9 was is a pattern that you get in the entire multiplication table? If, again, everything that I was just showing you. My point is that if you're trying to trade, what is it that traders do? We are looking for the same things and trying to capitalize on them over and over and over. Patterns. Even as a musician, what makes a song versus random noise? Structure. It like the song "We Will Rock You," boom, boom, bah, boom, boom, bah, right? It is a time sequence. It is a time pattern that makes people, again, identify that song, because that beat is quite literally throughout that entire song. If there was no structure, there wouldn't be that song, We Will Rock You. If they did boom, boom, ba, and then on the next bar, they went boom, ba. And then on the third bar, they did boom, 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 ba, right? It would just be noise, right? It would just be sporadic. There would be no pattern. There's nothing to grab onto. That's what separates random noise from, again, what human beings consider, music and patterns. And again, you guys all should know what I'm talking about. This is a conversation that, again, has quite literally changed my life in so many ways. It is, you could even take this a step further. You guys all know about the blood drinkers, right? And adrenochrome and all of that. This is the language of the Kabbalah. They use numbers. Numbers is what created the alphabet. But again, guys, we did not create math. We discovered it. And these people, again, are masters of numbers. That's what they do. One of the final frontiers of, again, human experience is, again, understanding what this stuff is and how this all works. Again, this is something that even applies to trading as well. When I show, and again, we'll show more of this like next week, where I can show like more examples and stuff. But sorry, quarters, just showing you right here, to give you guys just to give you guys a little bit of a demonstration for it. These are not support and resistance lines or anything. I could just as much get rid of the candles. Whoops. Where is it? There it is. I could just as much get rid of the candles, and all of these lines would still be relevant. Why? Because this is the grid that price plays on. And this is, again, why I say that this is not a theory to me. This is quite literally how the game works. This is how the candlesticks play at, where they mitigate to, where imbalances are created, even, again, where support and resistances or divergences or gaps or equal highs, or quite literally anything that anybody could possibly name on a chart exists on the grid. Equal, horizontal, and vertical lines. What those are when it comes to trading is what, again, everybody understands as quarters. That's what they are. But this only just brings me back again to the conversation of numbers in general. Risk management is something that is so critically important. For example, have you guys, I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know if you guys have experienced it, or maybe you've heard of it. Have you guys heard, or again, even yourself experienced going on a winning streak and then losing it all in 1, 2, 3 bad trades? Okay, well, what I always try to tell people is that the exact opposite of that exists as well. You could not be the best trader in the world, lose more times than you win, and still be profitable. But why does no one trade that way? And that gets back to the instant gratification gambling type of mindset. It brings us back to what it is that all of us have been catered to. Do you guys know the quote from Albert Einstein? Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Do you know why that quote exists? It's because if the human race was conceptually taught what compounding is, it would break the monetary system in a generation, because nobody would be trying to flip money. Everybody would be compounding. If just imagine if all of our generation was taught to compound. It would be the equivalent example of taking $1 million cash or a penny doubled every day for 30 days. If imagine how many people in the world would honestly just take the $1 million. And it's not to blame or fault them. It's again, that's what we're taught. We want it now. We need it now. We think about what, again, that $1 million could immediately solve in this, in this, and that. We are not taught, again, about, oh, we should wait and then allow it to grow, because of course a penny doubled every day. And I just use that particular uh metaphor, not a metaphor, but I guess riddle or whatever, because it's popular, but because most people, again, know about it. But of course, a penny doubled every day is $5 million at the end of 30 days. So the person who takes the million might very well not have the million by the end of the 30 days. And the person who takes the penny doubled every day won't have $1 million at the beginning or for a while, but at the end comes out way further ahead. We are not taught these things because numbers are the secrets to unlocking everything. Just like what that quote from Tesla said. If people only understood how far numbers really go, it is, again, how you want to call them, the elites or the Illuminati or the Kabbalah or the Jesuit order or the Pope or whatever, it doesn't matter. The people that are quite literally in control of this world understand this numeric language, and that is what is spoken through ads, through movies, through time signatures, through weather events, through Olympics, through sports, through media, through music, through trading, through the markets. It is in everything that they are in control of, which is everything. This is something that I'm telling you guys, it goes so far. It it goes so far. I can't even, there's just, it's so much. But when it comes to this, I think the word risk management has become cliched. I think it's a cliche now in trading, because people will, again, think that risk management in trading is having a, let's say, a 40 pip take profit and a 10 pip stop loss. That, in my opinion, is not risk management, because you could lose 60% of your account on a 10 pip stop loss, depending on your lot size. So that's not, by definition, risk management. It can't be, because the lot size is also important. Now, if they're managing their lot sizes, again, through numbers, that's where, again, this conversation of how do I avoid emotional trading? How do I stop revenge trading? How do I be able to confidently walk away? How can I make trading easier for myself? That answer is the same that I have always given since I personally started enacting it, which is allowing the numbers to do the heavy lifting for you. How much is in your account? How much are you willing to make? And how much are you willing to lose? AKA lot size, take profit, and stop loss. There is no thinking. There is no random variables. Then you apply the education that you've been taught to look at a chart and to get into the market to find an opportunity. It's not just about, well, hey, I found an opportunity, so therefore I'm going to catch this trade and off we go to a Lamborghini dealership. That's not how trading works. Trading is something that, again, is so profoundly different from anything that we've ever been taught. Why? Well, we are used to authority. We are used to a boss. We are used to a manager. We are used to a teacher, to parents. But specifically in the work metaphor, in trading, you are not just the manager of your trading. You are also the employee. You're both. You have to be the person that quite literally is sitting down in front of the computer, pushing the buttons physically. That's the employee part. The manager is the one on the back end, worrying about the numbers, worrying about, again, the manager stuff. That's not the employee's responsibility. So in trading, we have to wear two hats, and we're not used to that. We're used to being, the metaphor I always give for this is, why do people show up to work on time? What happens if people don't show up to work on time? What happens if they don't wear the uniform that they are told to wear? It's one word and it starts with D. What happens? There it is. Discipline. Discipline. Because, guys, think about a business that did not have standards and that did not discipline their employees. Do you think anybody would show up to work on time? Would anybody wear the uniform that they are told to wear or do what they're supposed to do? If, again, there was no discipline or no standards, how long do you think that restaurant, let's say if it was a restaurant, how long do you think that restaurant would stay open? What if you're, again, the people that open this restaurant that you own know that you do not maintain any standards in your business? So even though, again, the sign on the front of the building says you open at 9 a.m., the people who, again, open the store don't show up until noon. Because why should they show up at 9? If there's no discipline, why should they care, right? Well, trading is that metaphoric representation of that restaurant. If you do not have any kind of, again, a standard or discipline to yourself, and that's the thing that you have to understand. Who is going to discipline you for the bad mistakes you make in trading besides you? Is it me? Is it SJ? No. No one is anyone's boss here. When was the last time in your life, guys, that is the same case? When was the last time that you didn't have a boss? I'm not saying that from like a hype or a raw thing. I'm saying that we have always been taught to look up to the authority. What do we do? How do we do it? What can I do? What can I say? What do I wear? What days off can I have? Mom, Dad, can I go spend the night over here? Can I have a friend come over? Blah, 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 blah. It has always been there. Here we are learn to do that for ourselves. How, and here's a question that you guys should, ask yourself. How do you discipline yourself when you make a bad choice that you know you shouldn't have made and you still did it? It's okay that we, again, make the wrong decision, but it's, again, what you do after. How do you respond to that? Because, again, if you don't respond to it, what will happen? You'll continue to do it. You will continue to make those same choices. The discipline, the psychology of the discipline part is to, again, almost metaphorically burn yourself so you, again, won't want to make that mistake again or won't want to make that decision again. Because remember, who else is going to do this for you? Everybody wants to, own their own business and have their own time and all of that. Do you guys understand the responsibility that comes with these things? It is so much easier to blame a boss. It is so much easier to blame literally anything other than ourselves. But in trading, you will run out of excuses. You will run out of things to blame and then eventually be faced with yourself. And then you will make the most important decision. Do I change or do I continue doing what I've been doing? And that's where we're always trying to get to. We have to understand that, again, how you conduct this trading, how you conduct it, it applies even, do you guys think that this stops at trading? Again, what if you opened a restaurant? And again, you yourself did not maintain any standards. Nothing, that business is not going to grow. You're going to end up closing the doors. Put trading in that metaphoric expression of of, again, um, what, again, we all can easily understand, which is like a restaurant. Think of it like a restaurant. Is your restaurant running well, or is everybody late? No one is showing up to work at all. People aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing. There's no standards being maintained. So the entire restaurant, these business you own, is in complete chaos. How do you expect it to make money? Your trading is the same thing. And how is all of this immediately rectified? Numbers, management, number. The two things that human beings lack, guys, is number management and emotional intelligence. We are not taught these two things, period. This whole conversation was about numbers. Emotional management is a whole other conversation, but just number management, guys, it is something that, of course, nobody wants to do. Everybody would rather just throw money in an account, hit the blue button because it's their favorite color, and make $10 million. Everybody in the world would say that. Like, of course. But that is in fact the exact point. The test, the price of learning to genuinely get into the psychology or into the mindset of a trader is the ones that, again, accept that test and pass it, that force themselves to learn and to grow through that, to stop doing what it is that all of us have always been doing and doing things differently. We are always taught to chase money. Have you ever considered, again, that that is in fact the problem? Chasing money is not attracting it. You're chasing it. It's like the carrot on the stick. But everybody loves this "I'm chasing the bag" mentality. It's toxic because it takes everybody away from the truth and what trading is. If you guys ever hear the question, or even if you yourself have asked it, I have $500 in my account. What can I do with it? I have $1,000. What can I do with it? That's the epitome of saying, okay, I have $1,000. How much weed can I buy and how much can I sell it for? Because all you're talking about is how to flip money. Trading is not about flipping money. Trading is about compounding. If you want flip money, then go sell drugs. As funny as that might sound, it's the truth. Because that's what we're all taught to do. You really have to think about it. Is this really, again, the first time in your life that you really are concerned about making money? Or is it in fact the opposite? You have always been focused on making money your entire life, but yet all of us don't have any. Why is that, I wonder? Maybe there's something completely wrong with the approach that all of us have been taught. So number management, risk management, it's one and the same, guys. You just start recognizing. Here, I'll pass it back to SJ with this. Do you guys remember a time when you didn't see the same number every day, but then all of a sudden you start seeing 711 or 111 or 333 or 444 or any of those other ones a day? You see them all the time. Do you really think that that just started happening the day that you happen to recognize it? Or has it been happening in front of you your entire life, but your vision then adjusted to it? Because it has always been happening to you. It has always been in front of you, but your eyes were not focused on it. Your brain did not pick it up. Just like as much as you guys you can remember not seeing those same numbers, then you started to recognize it. And then now in days, you see it every single day. It's because the universe, that's, again, one of the ways that the universe expresses itself to us. When you see the same time, like that 333 or 111 or 222 or whatever, don't take that as, oh, it's random, or, oh, that's funny. No, These are universal. It's the universal language, guys. And I promise you, it doesn't just stop at like looking at the time or looking at a billboard or looking at a price tag or something or whatever and seeing the same numbers. This is everywhere in everything. But I'll show you guys more on this on the charts with quarters and stuff next week. So with that, I'll pass it back to you, SJ. I can't hear you. There you go.
Having a chat to myself. Guys, give us some love in the chat for Mike. Fucking epic call tonight. We've done the grid session. If you want to know more about the grid session, Dana, can I please get you to count the blue wolves for me while I close this call out? Thank you. Go to Mike Miles's Go Live, and in his favorites, he has grid session in there as well. It is literally what this is, but like way more in depth as well. So go and check that out. Next week, there's been a lot of demand of, you know, the quarters theory and understanding how the quarters work. And it's very, very interesting, very, very dry book to read. So let's just use Mike. Use and abuse Mike. Won't put you through the book, unless you want to, of course. But Mike, thank you so much for staying up and being so unwell and doing this call for the squad. We all
Of course.
really appreciate it. We didn't want to cancel 2 weeks in a row, guys. I'm not going to do that to you. So amazing.
Definitely not.
And guys, thank you for staying on. Thank you for being here. I'd love for you to send me some breakthroughs that you've had. And if you are new and you want to get on a call with myself or Mike, please just reach out to me and we'll get that happening and get it going. You've got access to all of the Tradehouse guys, all of us. It's not just, you know, one or two or whoever brought you in. You've got access to every single one of us. So Dana will let me know the blue wolfies before I close the call out. Count quicker. Guys, and yeah, I'm excited for next week. It's going to be a good one. So if you have any specific questions, jump on Mike's Go Lives, check out how he trades, what he does, and bring those questions to the call next week. And we'll see you then. But guys, this recording will be up. Mike, thank you again. Everyone, 40. Awesome. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And one in the inbox from Jacinta. Thank you, 41. Awesome, guys. Appreciate you all. Have a good night. By the way, I'm really impressed with the South Africans that are on here and the Americans and that are on here. Like, it's so early for you guys. Your dedication puts Aussies to shame. Except the Aussies that's on here. Appreciate you all. Have a good night. And we'll see you next week.
Love you guys.
Love you, Mike. Thank you so much. Good night.